The new INEC chairman is Joash Amupitan, a law professor who hails from Ayetoro Gbede in Ijumu local government area of Kogi State. Amupitan, who currently serves as the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Administration at the University of Jos, has spent more than 3 decades in the academia and legal practice. He joined the institution in 1989 as an assistant lecturer and rose through the ranks to become a reader in 2003 and a professor of law in 2008. Details from the University of Jos website shows that the new INEC boss obtained all his degrees, including bachelor's, master's, and doctorate in law from the same university. He was called to the Nigerian bar in 1988 after completing his program at the Nigeria Law School, Lagos. Amupitan was, until his nomination, the Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of Council of Joseph Ayo Babalola University, Osun State. Policy analyst Epelle makes a return on the news tonight. And of course, we have Director of Programs at Yaga Africa, Cynthia Mbamalu, joining in to expand the conversation about the appointment of the new INEC chairman. Thank you very much to both of you for being here. I'll start with you, Cynthia. We now have a new name, a professor who has been in the academia and seemed to have a stellar reputation. Talk to us about your thoughts on this nomination.
Well, thank you and good evening. I think what is important at this point is the need for us as Nigerians to focus and follow this process of appointment. The nomination has been made and the name will be forwarded to the Senate for screening. So it's beyond just the profile of the nominee. It's also about the requirement of that office. That's the office of the INEC chair. And that requires things as simple as, one, understanding and expertise when it comes to elections. And that is because the new chair, whomever occupies that particular seat, would have barely 3 months to settle in before the notice of elections for the next general election to be released and will be published by February next year. And so things as simple as expertise when it comes to elections is critical. Also, the non-partisanship and unquestionable integrity are important criteria in the Constitution that we also need to assess. I do believe that, and this is one step, but there's an important need for the screening process to include a multi-stakeholder participation so that citizens can also forward their feedback or comments or objections on the nominee. I do believe that an inclusive process would inspire better confidence in whomever emerges as the final chair of the commission. But like I said, this is a first step. As civil society, as citizens, we all need to keep our eyes on that process and follow through the conversation so that the screening process is actually thorough, in-depth, and done in such a way that we will be having an INEC chair that is ready for the work and that has the requisite capacities and competencies to get the work done.
Cynthia, hopefully we wouldn't see take a bow and go. Your credential speaks for you. Hopefully we won't see that. Okay, Jane, let's come to you and take your thoughts. Prior to this announcement, names were thrown around. We had names, I wouldn't mention them now, but you know what I'm talking about. Is this the best possible choice? Does his pedigree encourage optimism that perhaps 2027 will be different?
Well, going by what we know today and the kind of profile that this nominee have showcased, there's hope, and hopefully he will do the needful. I wanted to. Cynthia had done a good job in talking about the profile of the nominee and what is expected from the National Assembly. But I would zero in on the citizens' expectation of this gentleman, knowing fully well that he's coming to inherit an organization that have a battered image and deficit trust he is going to have do a lot of work to get back the confidence of Nigerians on the electoral management body. It's going to be a tough work for him, and the only way he can get it done is to show himself independent from day one. If he wants to play politics of being 1 foot in Aso Rock and 1 foot in INEC, then he would start immediately losing the confidence of the citizens. And so he needs to do a lot of work to rebuild the trust, and it starts with even INEC staff. I was privileged to meet with the acting chairman, and of course I said on your channel that she would never be INEC chairman.
Yes, you did.
Because I know May was not interested. He wants to get the job done and all that. But this gentleman will have to do a lot to reinstill confidence in first INEC staff, secondly Nigerians, and if he wants to play to the gallery, he would start losing anything and everything that he should have from day one. Hopefully, if it comes before the Anambra election, that will be a litmus test for him. If he plays the role of electoral umpire and not play the role of either APC or PDP candidate or Abga candidate, then the confidence scale will start swinging to his own favor. So we need a true Democrat. We need someone who will not be political. We need someone who truly have the leadership skills to deliver the competencies to run such an important institution. He needs to be a transparent leader. He needs to be a person of integrity. He needs to be accountable if he must get the trust of Nigerians.
Cynthia, you said he has a very short time, and I'm curious as to what Yaga knows about this man beyond his academic qualifications in terms of his relation with the electoral process, INEC itself. Does he have a prior history that bolster confidence that he might be a different breed? What has Yaga found out so far?
Well, for the best of our knowledge, I think the most that we know of is that he's also participated in elections petitions. However, I do believe that the screening process would enable us assess him better, and that is because the idea of a screening is like a job interview where you're asked questions, and the way you respond to practical issues and scenarios would help people or audience determine or ascertain if you have the capacities to get the work done. And I do believe that it's important that the screening process is made public, that media and civil society are allowed to participate and observe the process, and that there's a process for citizens to submit a memorandum or submit their issues or what they think the INEC chair should be addressed. And I think that would help us assess him better, because at this point, what we're going to be doing is following through this process and pushing the citizens' demand on it. I think it's important that we highlight what is at stake here. The trust deficit and the lack of trust in our electoral process is a major threat to Nigeria's democratic future. And so whomever emerges as the chair must realize that his appointment, or the appointment, the loyalty is to the Nigerian people and loyalty is to the Nigerian constitution and not to an individual. I think that is also what we need to state as when it comes to independence.
All right, Jay, quickly, in 40 seconds, if you can, what kind of questions do you expect that, the National Assembly will put to the incoming, I should use that, INEC chairman, that might help in building trust between the people and him during his time?
I'll say first, personal integrity. He has to pass the integrity test. Secondly, where he has worked. How did he carry out the work that he did in the university? Thirdly, what's his, I mean, as little as his family background, we need to know everything about him, and so that Nigerians can make up their mind if he's the right person. Like Cynthia said, once the process is transparent, then that's where the trust will begin. But if it's not, he'll be treated just like every other person.
I guess at this point it's safe to say fingers crossed and hope for the best. Thank you very much, Jake and Cynthia, for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.